Minasan, konnichiwa. Welcome everybody to the second official episode of the Travis High School Global Studies Academy visual podcast capstone project, hosted by, of course, me, alias Ezra Arias. And yeah, let's get into it. Now last episode, I was going over it and a little bit of critique, some constructive criticism. And some people said that there's not a lot of editing involved in these videos and that they kind of feel rushed. First of all, how dare you? No, I'm just kidding. That's unintentional. I want to make things feel more personal between me and, of course, you guys, the viewers. It's really difficult to sort of explain everything with my message coming across with like a bunch of effects on the screen. You know what I mean? And I want to emphasize my points that I'm trying to cross and make it feel more personal and like you're sitting down at like an actual lecture. Okay? So, last episode, we finished off with current attitudes, and today we'll be talking more about the Modern Meiji movement. Just quickly going over that, and then also we'll be going over the solution and the conclusion. All right. So today's color, kyou no color wa, yes. Today we'll be using blue. All right. Now blue is I consider the color of flow, like the color of the umi, the sea. So hopefully we can like see a little bit of change in that, and yeah, let's begin. So, Modern Meiji. Now, a Meiji movement, just to recap, is the period of Japanese history that came after the Tokugawa period that was mostly defined by a huge amount of westernization. Okay, we've moved away from samurai and having a shogunate and everything like that, and we moved towards like a more so like the government we have today, more centralized, just having the emperor and stuff like that. Okay, so how does this come into effect when we're talking about immigration? Now, again, it is essential to increase pressure and raise awareness about the importance of like extending civil liberties to migrants, right? Like we said earlier, it's really difficult for them to achieve these statuses, so we have to keep pressure. Okay, just say this is a 1 ton of weight, and we're weighing it down on the wonderful people of the national diet. You know, we have to let our voices be heard. We have to keep the pressure up. So when we talk about Modern Meiji, we're talking about more change, reform, and all that. Okay? Japan traditionally has been super resistant to immigration. Okay? But how I said earlier in last episode, the perspectives constantly change. Now, what I failed to mention is that although the perceptions constantly shift, they go back and forth for the most part, they are still mostly gradually going up in favor of a Modern Meiji movement. Okay? Now, this isn't like a significant amount of like number of people who support this, but it's still there, and I believe it should be recognized. So that Pew Research Center, for example, has gathered the polls recognizing the steadily growing number, and because people recognize that we need immigrants stave off the economic and demographic decline. Like last episode we said, we have declining birth rate of babies. Not a lot of people are having babies, unfortunately, and Also, the yen is also very weak. So, in order to stave off this economic decline, what's the solution? Immigrants. All right. So let's talk more about that solution. Pull up my lesson plan real quick. Excuse me, guys. All right. So, as we've established, a big solution is an influx of immigrants. Okay, immigrants traveling from wherever in the world to Japan, whether it be for tourism or for business trip or migration. This is what we need. We need more immigrants. Okay, so there is this study, a hypothetical situation, if you will. There's a model created by these two people, who I will credit down below, Shimasawa and Ogura-san. Now, they kind of confirmed that one, continuous flow, here I'll demonstrate by a wave, continuous flow implies less population aging and than under no immigration. So, to kind of summarize that, having an influx and steady flow of immigrants is way better than having none at all, clearly. And then we have two, immigration increases the labor force. Immigration increases the labor force. And then three, the children and grandchildren of immigrants will continuously, contribute to the decreasing population aging and labor force increase in the long run. So it's sort of like an investment, okay? We're talking about long run, short run. So it's, think back to macro, LRAS and all that. Limited, long run aggregate supply. So what does this mean? This means Japan will need to substitute migrants for its aging workforce. Instead of having all these old people steadily leave the workforce, because as they age, obviously they're not going to be able to do the same things that they will do. They need to replace them with immigrants, okay? And those are going to be the new labor workers, okay? Not only that, if it changes its rights package, it'll become more appealing to come to Japan. And this is especially true if they want to attract higher skilled workers, which recently I believe they did allow a higher influx of immigrants in order to address the needs of this massive need for higher skilled workers. Okay, so not only does this build on the previous contention of how mistreatment of foreigners and migrants with its lack of policy and ethnic homogenous culture kind of makes it difficult to pursue change, but it also applies to the Meiji movement, more people kind of changing that into the more Western society. All right, so that's that. However, let's recap. Now, again, aging population, declining birth rate, a stubborn old national diet refusing to accept change, and that's mostly because of the large amount of xenophobic attitudes towards migrants. Now, this is because of many things, whether it be past history or ongoing tourism incidents that allow business people to grow wary of foreigners. Now also, this perception changes. It shifts back and forth, like we said, but it steadily rises in support of immigration because we still need it. Now, because of all this, a modern Meiji movement that solves these issues not only allows Japan to build upon the diversity and improve the economic issues. So instead of the yen declining, we could possibly see it increase foreign supply market. And it creates a better future overall for cultural exchange and the global economy. Not only will Japan be less wary of like all these tourists coming in and messing up all their stuff, and immigration, they'll be more used to, they'll be more used to seeing them all the time and then be more understanding, I suppose. But that also means we need to put in the effort to be respectful. All right? So, culture exchange, global economy bursts because of this immigration reforms. Remember, a diverse future is a stronger future. Okay? A true immigration policy can shift stubborn ethnic nationalism to positive attitudes and towards the continuation of a really unique culture. Because we like Japan, right? We love Japan. We want to keep it around, and we need to keep that pressure up in order for them to stick around. So, in conclusion, immigration reform leads to a modern Meiji movement. And we need that. Please, I want you to take away from this all of these ideas. I want you to be respectful to any country that you may visit and be wary of the ongoing political and social issues. Okay? Be wary. And thank you so much for listening. Okay? If you enjoy this, I will likely talk about more stuff, whether it be Japan, but other countries. Let me know. And that's it. それだけだ。以上です。I will see you guys next time.